And then in verse 6, he goes on to say, don't worry about anything, but in everything through prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Worry is the mental habit of repeatedly thinking about potential problems and negative outcomes, especially ones that are uncertain or outside your control. I saw this definition and I loved it right here. It's a little bit maybe easier to swallow. It says this: worry is fear rehearsed in advance. Come on, you can write that one down. Worry is fear rehearsed in advance, right? And God didn't give me a spirit of fear. So it's fear, but I rehearse a lot of bad outcomes all the time. Kristen has a saying that always telling me, if you're going to tell yourself a story, tell yourself one that works for you. Like, right? Like, if I'm going to make something up, why am I making it up that I'm dying or like all the things, right? The worst, I'm like, I'm a millionaire now. That's how I need to walk around versus I'm in perfect health. That's what's about to happen. My boss wants to talk to me because he wants to give me a raise. Not because of whatever may or may not. Again, I don't want to rehearse these things. It's fear rehearsed in advance, right? And so what are the stories that you're telling you about whatever the situation is my question. What am I telling myself? And there's lots and lots of scripture that tells us to not worry. And I think it's like a spin cycle. If you're sitting there and you're waiting for the dryer to stop and it just won't stop, but you're like, I need these clothes out now. And it's spinning, or at the end of the wash cycle where that thing just spins forever. I think we get into that rut when it comes to worrying. It's a spin cycle, right? And how do we get out of that is these 4 things that he says right here. The first one is to pray, okay? MC Hammer said, I got to pray just to make it today, right? Let me show my age with that, But we've got to pray, right? And prayer here describes how we approach God, right? Because we know that with the finished work of the cross, he has made a way that we can approach him. Before, we couldn't approach him. Apart from a relationship with him, you cannot approach him. Now, as a believer, you can approach him, and he's saying, approach me and pray, right? It says this in Hebrews 4:16, therefore let us approach the throne of grace with boldness so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need, right? God allows us to approach him. Why wouldn't we?